face it, the Venom films haven't been universally loved. But I like them. Sure, they're cheesy popcorn movies that desperately need a Spider-Man cameo, but there's something irresistible about their chaotic energy and Tom Hardy's wonderful over-the-top performance. Sometimes you just need to switch your brain off and enjoy the madness.
If people do not need their brains, does it mean I can eat them?
This brings me to Venom 3, The Last Dance. I didn't go in expecting much from the reviews. They all panned the first film and only mildly warmed to the second one. Early reactions hinted at an improvement in this third installment. The trailer also hinted at a more mature, elevated story, a fully fledged superhero film rather than just another wild ride. As release day approached, critics' reactions turned harsh, comparing it unfavourably to Madam Web, which I enjoyed because it was laughably bad, and even Joker Folie à Deux, which, for the record, I enjoyed.
Me too. I am a massive fan of Lady Gaga.
So I went in feeling a little deflated and hoped that it would be the case of me kicking against the press and enjoying it anyway. The story picks up after Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Eddie's brief cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, Eddie is on the run, blamed for Detective Mulligan's death, although we know from the trailer that he's still alive. The main plot centers on Knull, king of the symbiotes, who is imprisoned and needs the codex within Eddie and Venom to escape. He sends a xenophage from Venom the Hunted to hunt them down so Knull can be released to destroy all life, well, everywhere. Eddie embarks on a road trip, but soon gets attacked by a xenophage, with Venom warning him not to go full Venom or risk being tracked. Action sequences are fantastic, and the scene with the horse is particularly fun, even if we got a sneaky peeky in the trailer. The humour is spot on, giving fans plenty of those oddball buddy comedy moments between Eddie and Venom that we love. Surprisingly, the film also includes some tender moments that add depth, which is impressive, given that it's about a washed-up reporter fused with a violent alien.
How dare you? Call me Violet again, and I will kill you.
Rhys Ifans joins the cast as a hippie alien fanatic road tripping to Area 51 with his family. By the end, you do question the inclusion, but they're charming and bring some heart. Meanwhile, Rex Strickland makes an appearance, though only nominally resembling the comic book counterpart. He's got a fantastic backstory and significance, and it's barely hinted at, but I'll cover that again in a future video about Knull's origins, so make sure you subscribe. I found it a bit odd to see a gender swap to Dr. Thaddeus Payne reimagined, from a sadistic villain who tortures victims to understand pain into a quirky scientist with a fascination for symbiotes, with occasionally lacking empathy. That said, Juno Temple as Dr. Teddy Payne was absolutely fantastic. From her first scene to her last, she was actually mesmerising. While it might have been nice to either create a new character or use a more fitting one from the comics, I wonder how many viewers actually really knew the source material, and honestly, I loved every moment she was on the screen. She began to steal the show for me, completely nailing the energy needed for a comic book character.
I loved her so much.
Overall, I really enjoyed this film, and if you're a fan of the first two, you're going to like this one too. Without giving too much away, it sets up the future for a Venomverse in a big way, not just by hinting at a new Eddie Brock Venom replacement, but by introducing entire sequences without Eddie or Venom. I especially like seeing the expanded world with scientists studying symbiotes and an alien strike force all ready to combat them, like they're already firmly in place. If I have any criticisms, it's just that there's quite a few plot holes. For instance, since going full Venom lets the codex be tracked, there are times when Eddie goes full Venom when it's totally unnecessary. And if he's in hiding, why on earth would he go to New York for his go-to spot, with all its millions of CCTV cameras? I completely understand why this film's received poor reviews. I think it requires a bit of background knowledge of Knull from his origins in Thor and Venom, the Codex concept from Absolute Carnage, and Knull's immense power from The King in Black. Without that, the film might feel like a series of loosely connected scenes. The sequences touching on these elements are often rushed with minimal explanation. Characters like Rex, Payne, and Mulligan, they've all been heavily rewritten, so their importance might be a bit unclear to those familiar with those in the comics. Some scenes exist mainly for action or comedic value, adding little to the plot, and they sometimes overstay their welcome. It's clear the creators have a genuine love for the characters and the lore. They're making an effort to stay true to the source material without pushing any kind of agenda. It's more I can say for Velma or the Doctor Who episode Rogue. In those cases, it was painfully obvious that the writers had probably never even watched an episode of Doctor Who or Scooby-Doo, and instead they seem more interested in shoehorning an unsellable, poorly written script to push their feeble virtual signalling agendas.
How could they not have Scooby-Doo in a show about Scooby-Doo characters?
If you, like me, love the first two movies as silly popcorn flicks or appreciated both films and the comics, then you'll find plenty to enjoy in Venom 3. And without giving too much away, it definitely sets the stage for future movies, which I really look forward to seeing. Have you seen Venom: The Last Dance? Did it bond with your DNA? Or did it reject you, leaving you writhing on the floor? Either way, let me know in the comments, and I will love you forever if you hit that subscribe button.
And if you don't subscribe, I will eat your face.